Welcome to Magestore Podcast, Retail's New Normal series. This is Kate.
And this is Keenan.
In each episode, we will share insightful stories about how retailers are applying technology and retail techniques to recover and thrive during the COVID-19 pandemic. The podcast will have lots of knowledge about retail operations, tips and tricks, lessons, and customer experience during or post-COVID. So, are you ready to adapt to a new normal? Let's join us.
Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us today and listening to our new episode of the Retail's New Normal podcast series. Continuing the previous topic about retail trends, in today's episode, we're going to talk about how you, as a retailer, can launch new retail systems successfully, even during or post-pandemic. Some big challenges will be mentioned, what you need to prepare, and step-by-step guide to launch a new system with a provider. And in this episode, along with my co-host Kate, our special guest, Mrs. Jessie, she will share everything from her experience with launching new system for customers. Hey Jessie, thank you for joining us today. Can you introduce yourself to the Retail New Normal audiences?
Yeah, hi everyone. Hi Keenan. Hi Kate.
Hi, Jessie.
I'm Jessie, business analyst from Magestore. Thank you for having me today, and I hope that we will have a great time sharing together.
All right, great. So, business analyst, huh? Can you give us more details about your job at Magestore, and how do you support customers in launching their business?
Yeah, I have been working as a business analyst in Magestore for nearly 2 years. Being a BA, I'm the one who will go along with the customer from the day they start their project, do needed customizations to make the system work best for their business, to the day the system is live in the real stores. So during that journey, I'm responsible for listening to their problems, proposing solutions to resolve them, make sure the system works well until the launching is successful. So I can say that the BA like me will be so close with the customers, and we really understand their business and system.
That's awesome. I think because your job, like you have to work closely with customers, so that means you really understand their struggles and also expectations, right? So
Yeah.
I'm actually curious about this. That I see that quite a few countries are like implementing vaccines and stores are reopening and people are start living in the new normal state, right? I think that's the reason many entrepreneurs want to start a new business or simply reopen a brand new business. So
Yeah.
we actually want to know more about the country pattern that you see that is a trend here, which retail industry is surging back in the new normal and why?
Yeah, sure. So as you can see, in fact, since 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic has had a strong impact on business activities in all industries and fields.
Mhm.
However, from the beginning of 2021, as you mentioned, with the widespread implementing vaccines, we are now seeing a great recovery of global economy. With vaccine, people now feel secure when they're leaving the house. So, the need for the entertain, the gym or indoor
Mhm.
exercise studio, the dining and shopping, and especially clothes will skyrocket.
That's right.
Several other industries are still growing since the outbreak of COVID and will continue to grow, such as the consumer goods, grocery, the cosmetics and personal care, technology, home decoration, and houseware, because people, have spent a lot of time for staying at home.
Right, got it. So I know that you work in a lot of projects for retailers, right?
Mhm.
So do they share any concern about the current situation with you when they decide to reopen the store? Like, how did they feel about that?
Yeah. Actually, at first, all of the store owners they feel anxious. They are worried about the reduce of sales of the customers. They worried about the high inventory and a lot of other things. But with the software, with the technology and just-in-time solutions, they gradually overcome and keep everything work well, even better during the COVID.
Right. So can you be more specific here? Like, how do they still open the business but keep the community safe at the same time? Like any example about the way they apply any methods or technology to be able to do that?
Yes. I can say that, for example, they will invest more on the website because consumers' behavior now is shifting to online shopping to increase the sales from the physical stores as well. Of course, people need to follow some required hygiene practices when shopping in stores to keep everyone safe. Some business invest on last mile delivery with the optimization in the delivery time. This can be seen clearly in the grocery retailers. For example, last year I worked with a big grocery retailer in Pakistan, and I did build a solution which helped them to optimize the delivery time to be shortest because the grocery consumer has higher requirement in shipping time during the COVID.
Wow. Okay, that's actually amazing. I wish my local grocery store are that fast.
Yeah.
Especially when two of my local store were actually quarantined due to COVID contract, so I had to actually go further away to get to shop for food. So what you are doing with the Pakistan store is actually amazing. So I mean, any other tactics or models that you see from your customer requirements? Any other ones?
Yeah. Besides that one, there are a lot of other businesses. They improve the customer experience, in click and collect shipping methods. We help them to build the solution to have a smooth process between the customers and the staff in store, so that the process now is quick and correct. Some other business, they also applied new shipping methods like using the truck, then they ship by area, and so we help them to build the solutions and customize the current system to track all of those shipments.
All right, I see. So in short, click and collect should be a must, right? During this, during this pandemic crisis like this. So, I mean, it's all come down to creating more efficient way for the customer to collect their items. So it's good they're adding them. So speaking about creating more efficiency, what aspect that concern the customers and they want to focus on during this time? Can you elaborate on this?
Yes. Basically, each customer they have their own requests and concerns for the system based on their current business and based on their needs. But overall, as I see, most of them care a lot about the system performance because this affects directly to the customer experience and which will directly also affect to their revenue. And besides, they also often seek an easily customizable system, user-friendly and of course affordable.
Right. Okay, totally makes sense to me.
All right, that's right, Kate. So, as a senior business analyst, can you share with the audience what does it take to make the delivery smoothly from a technology company point of view, and what is Magestore doing at the moment regards to the pandemic? Is there any change comparing to prior to the pandemic? Is there anything changed at all?
Yeah, I think that not only delivery. I think with every role who is responsible for working with the customers, building trust with the customers will be the foundation and will be the key factor in the long-term working process between two parties. Um, with our delivery team, besides building trust, I think keeping the trust present throughout the work process is more important, and it will help us to make the delivery become smooth. Actually, we mainly focus on two factors to get there. The first one is the transparency. We are transparent with the customers on plan, on updating tasks, on any documents regarding to the project. We are also transparent by delivering the result to the customer weekly through the acceptance calls. Then the customer can experience and get feedback or update if they need soon.
Okay.
And the second factor is I think is the cross function. With every project, in Magestore, we create a Slack channel with all of our team members, from the project manager, from the BA to the developers, and the customer's team members. So if the customer have any question or concern, they just need to put a question on that channel or reach to anyone in our team. Then they can get their responses, even when the one who gets their question is not an expert on that or not responsible for that. Actually, we want to provide the customers the best experience through the communication channels without reaching out to too many parties to get their answers.
Wow, what an amazing work that you did. Because from my experience, not every company or product providers really focus on transparency, as well as finding ways to communicate better with customers. So I have one more question. How about in this pandemic, how Magestore and the launching process are helping retail merchants during COVID-19? Is there any example to help them visualize the actual work in details?
Yeah, I think it's a good thing that so far most of our Magestore customers are overseas. So the working method between the two parties is online, especially face-to-face online. So even when the COVID-19 broke out, it was easy for us to continue the process as before without any difficulty. But we do not stand still. Every day we try to improve the process to help the customers have a better and smoother experience during the project. For example, we create a tool to generate a task right from the customer's message in the Slack channel. And we link that task to our system. So even when the customer reports an issue or puts a question at the night time, we still easily log it for the next day to handle. And it's also a replied message from us to the customer to let them know and feel more secure that they will be taken care of. Yes.
Okay, that's a good process that you got done. So what is the process that your team applying when implement a project for, comparing from a big or small customer, a big enterprise to a small merchant? So do we have any sort of step-by-step process for this? It can be useful for someone who is wondering about this during this time.
Yeah. Actually, the process is almost the same with the big and the small projects. Basically, with a customer, when they come to us, we always require them to prepare at least one development site, which is close to the production site, and it will be the acceptance site for every feature before we go live. Firstly, we will verify the site information, discuss with the customer about the process to apply the code when we go live the system. Next, BA like me, we will work closely with the customer to define the features they need to see, which one is available in our products and which one is needs to be add more config and customization. Then we will start to install code customization, config everything regarding to the customer's business on the development side. The most important part is testing. All of the things, of the new system will be tested by BA carefully to make sure that it works correctly with the customer's expectation. Besides that, we will also install the performance tool to check the system performance during the go live time. And finally, we will support customers deploy the software to the live site easily about 1 to 2 weeks before the go live day, because we need time to test everything again one more time on the live site. Every step, it will be defined clearly with a timeline after we discuss with the customer. And as I said, our team will be the one who go along and support the customer in each step.
Right. Very detailed, I think. I think the audience who are listening to the podcast, or at least they will have an example from Magestore for reference. But they will need to go through the process like this, like you mentioned here, to be able to launch a successful system, right? So I have one last question for you, but it also very big questions. Like, can you brief the biggest challenges that retailer might encounter when they launch a business in the new normal, so that they can prepare?
Yes, that's really a big question. Yes, because launching a new business is never easy, and launching a business in the new normal after coronavirus is even tougher. Yes, the retail sector is usually considered as an economic heavyweight, because on average across OECD countries, about 1 in 12 workers are employed in the retail sector, and it contributes almost 5% of GDP. However, due to the COVID-19 outbreak, along with other sectors, the retail sector is also facing a severe disruptions in employment. So I think the first challenge we can think about is that the human resources management. Because as I said above, it's the fact that an organized retail store provides employment to a large number. The challenge may come from the frontline sales staff, who are always at the forefront while serving the customers, from the employee productivity and job assurance, from employees' health, communication, or even for online sales, especially with the traditional brick and mortar retailers.
Yeah, I agree. So retailers might have like a plan to ensure the safety of the employees, while also trying to maintain business as usual activity, right? So that is their challenges. So what's more do you have?
Yes, I think we can think about the second challenge is managing demand fluctuations, because as you can see now, while some retailers are seeing demand fall away and customers shift channels, others are facing spikes in demand, for example, grocery retailers or pharmacies. So, in my opinion, the ability to predict and manage demand has never been more important than now.
Yeah, true. That's true. Because we know for sure that this pandemic is so unprecedented. So, like, everything can get better or get worse without giving us any hints.
Yes, correct. But it's not the end of everything. The second challenge that I mentioned actually leads to our third challenge, This is the long-term supply chain. I think that most non-food retailers are not yet feeling the full impact of supply disruptions now, but in the long term, the magnitude and timing of supply chain disruptions across geographies and subsectors is real, and it's time for talk between the retailers and their key suppliers to assess the risk and create the contingency plans. Besides, the financial, of course, is another big challenge. The COVID-19 taught us a lesson that nothing is impossible. Everything we've built in a few years may gone away just after a few months. So, shoring up the cash reserves is a must. And I think that the retailers should think first about how they continue to pay the bill if there is any other lockdown or other factors making the downturn in demand. So having a cash forecast, building a detailed financial plan with reasonable spending allocation will help much.
Yeah, that's very useful. I agree.
Yeah. And I think that last but not least, the retailers should also be think about the impact these massive changes will have on the customer and the customer relationship. Some questions need to be concerned, like how will you maintain trust in your brand and your products and services in this situation? How will you set the customer's expectations for today? And how will you recover the customer experience in the future? Because actually, in this situation, shoring up the customer relationship is just as important as shoring up the bottom line.
I think we reached the end of today's episode actually, and great information overall, Jessie. I think our audience today are in your mentioned recovery industry. Then there are lots of insightful process that they can actually apply during their recovery stage, or at least what could be some of the next step if they are a bit lost actually during this time.
Yes. Thank you, Keenan, and thank you, Kate, for inviting me today. And I'm very glad to be here on the podcast. I also hope to receive more ideas from the audience so that we can discuss further and get more insights on the retail world together.
Sure. If we receive anything, we will let you know for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jessie.
Thank you.
All right, so that's it for this week's episode of The Retail's New Normal. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and you would like to help support the podcast, please share with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating or review. To catch all the latest from us about Retail Insight, don't forget to follow us on your favorite podcast app that you are listening to. And of course, don't miss out the next episode. Make sure to also visit our website, Magestore.com, where you can also learn about doing retail the right way, with all the tools and knowledge that will make your business a success. Once again, this is Kate.
And this is Keenan.
Wishing you a happy podcasting.
Goodbye.